Hello, everyone. I'm Sunny Boren. I'm an attorney and CPA, and I head our business and tax department. And I'm going to tell you a bit about what that department can do for you right now. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the types of entities we can form for you. First of all, if any of you are operating a business or even consulting, you are essentially in a sole proprietorship. You just report all of your income and expenses on your 1040 tax return. So it's very simple, but you don't have any protection from claims that could arise from that business, and you don't have any help with that darned 15.3% self-employment insurance. More about that in a sec. So one of the first things on the list today is partnerships. And partnerships have a number of good uses, but specifically I like to use them for when two or more people own a piece of real property. There are tremendous benefits, especially in taxes, and even in California taxes, which is very uncommon. Limited liability partnerships is there just really to tell you about how law firms generally operate, including us, Koppenbarger and Koppenbarger LLP. The next that we list is S corporations. As I said, there's a way to use S corps to avoid really all of the 15.3% self-employment tax, but it's got to be done right, and it's a little bit complex. So I recommend that you come to a law firm. I recommend that you come to me. And finally, I list something that's very, very important for owners of rental properties or any business operation that you haven't chosen to put into an actual corporation. And that's the limited liability company, or LLC. This entity can act as a Teflon coating around all of your other assets so that a lawsuit arising from the LLC business or property couldn't explode onto those other assets and have them subject to a court judgment. It's a very, very important entity in United States law today, frankly. So the next thing I want to tell you about is how I personally can draft or review, if it's already drafted, any contract generally for business. And I do all of that with the sieve in my mind of all taxes: income tax, capital gains tax, estate and gift, and California property tax. And then really my overview is that I work to satisfy and meet, to the extent possible, all of your specific goals and desires. This is not a cookie cutter procedure that we have going here, and it's certainly not an online LegalZoom, which might actually hurt you more than it helps you. But it's something crafted for your individual situation. As Lloyd mentioned, I deal with nonprofit entities and can help with those for you or any of your friends or family. I do certain types of irrevocable trusts, one of them being the Special Needs Trust, which I find to be a very, very helpful and joyful creation for parents of a disabled child or someone who is likely to be on government benefits in the near future or the midterm future. I do prenups or postnups, and my call to action on prenups is that the fiancés get their attorneys 3 to 4 months before the wedding, so everything won't be pushed into a last-minute stressful rush. And then we prepare particularly estate, gift, and trustee or fiduciary income tax returns. Those are our specialty, our bailiwick, that we believe we're better than your standard tax preparer out there. So the next area is charitable giving. And of course, you can do charitable giving, and I'm sure most of you do, to your favorite charity or church just by cash donations. But there's some very powerful entities available to you. A charitable lead trust allows you to give, for instance, a portfolio or even one investment and have the income on that gifted, the cash flow go out each year to the charity. And then at the end of the term, say about 10 years, you receive the property back. So you can have the joy of giving that investment again if you wish, or just keep it in your portfolio. And finally is my very favorite, the Charitable Remainder Trust, or CRT. This can be particularly useful if you have a piece of highly appreciated real property that you want to gift to charity. And you want to not bear that immediate tax consequence of losing so much of it to the federal and state government, so much of the proceeds. One of the beauties of this trust is that you and your spouse and perhaps your children, we'd have to run the numbers, can receive an annuity of payments, generally called a CRUT, installment payment, over your lifetimes. And then only at the end of your lifetimes is the remainder of the trust gifted and transferred to the charity. And finally, I saved the best for last. That is your payment of cash amounts to you every month, quarter, or year over your lifetimes. So, in short, keep me in mind when your friends or family or you want to talk about a potential entity. And I'm the main person to have a call or meeting scheduled with. I really like to do Zoom or FaceTime for the initial meeting if you can't make it to our Santa Ana office. And I would call you to action if any of the things I've discussed seem like they might be something that you're going to need. Thank you very much for your attention today.